Oh god, the horror. What's up, everybody? Oh, it is supposed to be off the chains. There's a typo. Whoops. I don't think the typo will edit here. I can't edit YouTube titles because why would I be able to edit YouTube titles? No, it's of the chains. There you go. Everything's working, right? Yeah, everything's good. Hello, it's me, Shrimp Tom.
I'm a rogue.
What's up?
A year plus one worry.
Oh, that's crazy. My chat is also not seeing subs or anything. That's kind of cool. What's up, Balanian? How are you doing? Yeah, this is Dragon Lord Chains. Sorry, apparently I'm just having some technical problems. It's how it is at the beginning of anything. So, for those of you that missed it, last week I played around with the Dragon Lord, and it was pretty cool. I used a two-handed character to do endgame Dragon Lord stuff. It's kind of the idea. However, what ended up happening was that I really wanted to try out the Chains version, which is slightly different. So the original Dragon Lord that I played was like Thunder Soul sort of deal, where I was trying to instantly kill stuff. It was pretty cool. I took it into R10s. I found that it sometimes worked in R10s in the sense that I was sometimes able to use it successfully. But if I'm being honest, Dragon Lord just does so much damage, you kind of don't even need it. It is crazy to me to think that this ability, Sunder Soul, with no saving throw, because it's broken. It has a saving throw, but it currently doesn't work right now. It has no save on it. So you can just use it. It just works. It's an instant kill with no save, but because of the setup, it's fine. I wouldn't call it bad. I mean, there's obviously the investment to get into it, but you are picking up +2 on your Draconic Auras to get it. You do get +2 Imbue dice. But, like, that's, like, the craziest thing to me, is imagining that this isn't good in modern DDO. Like, if I showed this to somebody 10 years ago, they would lose their mind. They'd be like, 20-second cooldown, instantly kill? Are you insane? But you have to understand, there's a time way earlier in DDO where, like, instant killers were the top dog. That was, like, the thing to do. When Reaper mode first released, and especially when people were trying to do R10s, killing monsters through dealing damage to them wasn't the best option. It was an option, but honestly, damage was so much lower back then, and so even where you had people with good builds, instant killers were kind of the best thing because instant killers could do so much. Since that time, so that would have been like 2018-ish, 2019, instant killing has stayed pretty much the same in terms of, like, the spells haven't really changed that much. Nothing has really changed. But the damage numbers have probably increased by at least 10 times, which is, like, a crazy thing to think about. But the amount of damage you can get on melee characters, ranged characters, and even to some extent spellcasters, they did reduce the damage of spellcasters in R10 from 15% to 10% of total damage. So it was a 33% nerf, but even still, you can still do a lot of damage with those. And that's kind of crazy to think about, for me, is, you know, that's literally how that works. Like, man, the damage is so high. Is this even good in the hardest difficulty of the game? So overall, I had a lot of fun with Dragonlord, and I'm going to be playing way more Dragonlords. I have more builds to get through. But for the meantime, we are working on the Chains Dragonlord because I wanted to try something else. Now, this character is a reference to the Chains Barbarian. Basically, you use Frenzied Berserker to get access to +2 to all critical multipliers with all weapons. And then you use Swashbuckler to get +2 to critical threat range with hand axes. Now, while swashbuckling, it also doubles, or this +2 bonus is also doubled by improved critical. So my character somehow has a hand axe with a 15 to 20 times 5, which you wouldn't think would be that great because I'm just using a hand axe, which is kind of like a mid one-handed weapon. But 15 to 20 times 5 is a really high critical threat range. This is times 5 is a big multi to have on a melee weapon, as most melee weapons do not get this, as usually you get +1 multi just in heroic. So if you're using a Kopesh, a longsword, something like that, you're going up to times 4. So this gets times 5, which is pretty nice, which is really only matched by, like, heavy pick and stuff. It's got a pretty wide range, and it gets even wider. As the Spike Chain Attack, the base ability from Chain is +1 threat range and multi for a triple hit cleave, and the Greater Spike Chain Attack is +2, which means this is a 13 to 20 times 7. So if you critically hit somebody, you hit them for 7 times damage, which is just a silly thing to say. What do you mean hit them for 7 times damage? What are you talking about? So yeah, and that's just in the game, so you can just do that. Not only to mention that, but there's also abilities and epics that also have high critical range. And this character also gets access to Blow by Blow, which reduces the threat, so you generate less aggro, and also gives you +3 critical threat range. Overall, I think this character is going to end up being better in terms of dealing damage. Honestly, probably better in a group, because while you do miss out on the Imbue dice here, as well as the bonus to Draconic Auras, you're instead gaining, well, a lot of utility. Also, you can mount and use chains at the same time, which is always fun. Also, what's up, Alaru? How you doing? I hope you're doing very, very well. What's up? Anyway, so yeah, so that's what we're doing here. Also, for those of you that missed it, there was a huge outage of Dungeons & Dragons Online. Their servers had major issues, and so the game was down. Although I think the game wasn't necessarily down. I think it was that the login servers were down. So people that didn't log out were actually still able to be, like, in the game. So there's that. I didn't notice because I was playing Path of Exile all weekend. Well, at least a little bit of the weekend. The Necropolis League started out not being as fun as I wanted. Unfortunately, the league mechanic just wasn't very good. So while there's a lot of other good quality of life changes that they did in the patch, I just found that the league mechanic was really, really lackluster. And on the plus side, so did everybody else. So while lots of people, got in, played, and did a bunch of other stuff, a lot of people found the league mechanic lackluster or just downright frustrating most of the time. Basically, the league mechanic was supposed to be you make the areas harder, and then you collect corpses, which then you can use to craft. But the crafting system was complicated. You needed a million pieces. There were so many variables to it, and the game was so much harder with most of the time no reward. So they did actually patch it. I think it was either yesterday or the day before. And so I have tentatively been like hemming and hawing over going back and playing around with a lot of it. So it was an interesting time. DDO was down for the whole weekend, and so a lot of people couldn't play, although the game servers did end up coming back up on Monday. Stone Games has also said that they are going to be doing something for the players in lieu. So if you did not get the chance to play, unfortunately, or like on the weekend, you were locked out, Stone Games, whoop, right here. Oh, I moved. I'm over here now. Get this over here, give me a little bit more space. There we go. You can see more of me. Anyway, Stone Games has a message to our players, and they said, we'd like to reward you for your patience. So we'd like to apologize for the unplanned downtime that occurred this weekend due to an outage at our data center. Engineering and IT teams worked diligently throughout the weekend to resolve this issue, and we're pleased to report that the problems have been fixed, which is good. I do, feel bad for the people that had to work on that. For many, it was annoying because this was Easter weekend. So if you're in a country that has Easter as a national holiday, like most of North America, a lot of people on their big holiday weekend couldn't actually play the game, which was unfortunate. However, also as unfortunate, the engineering and IT teams were also working all weekend. So that was fun. Gotta love that. So they also did not have a very nice Easter. And they also mentioned that we recognize the significance of this outage over a holiday weekend, and we're truly sorry for any inconvenience it caused. Also, Blue Phoenix, welcome back to the stream team. Appreciate the support. You've been a fantastic day. Glad to have you here. Welcome back for 43 months. So that was interesting. So because of the outage during the holiday weekend, they're doing a couple things. So one, the VIP gold rolls were extended 2 days for the days that were down. They're also giving VIPs 2 additional days of VIP. I didn't know they could add incremental days of VIP. But that's kind of cool. So nice. I wasn't even playing, and I get the VIP bonus, so that's nice. And also, this weekend, because they had that downtime, there will be a Heroic and Epic XP boost, a Guild Round boost, and a Treasure Hunter boost. So if you missed your time playing last weekend, hopefully you can get in and play some this weekend and kind of catch up on some of that XP that you missed. It's also a Buddy bonus XP this weekend, and that includes raids, so you can get a lot of XP this weekend if you want to go run Legendary Shroud or something. And apparently we have hit an issue when crediting accounts with VIP days. Our team is on it and will be updated you as soon as possible. Okay, so apparently they said they want to do that and they can't, so I don't know. During their fixes they add any Easter eggs? No, I don't think so. Zero light snow? Yeah, there's a snowstorm outside. So, there's literally a snowstorm, which is hilarious.
Hey, Strim, Brian here.
Yo, what's up?
You're good at character reviews, yeah?
Yeah, I am.
Trying to squeeze every last drop out of a character by choosing all the correct.
I wouldn't use that terminology, but sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, I got this jacket from a grain elevator that says Integra, fortified seed.
Okay.
Should I change out the Integra enhancement for Viagra, so it says Viagra, fortified seed? Will this increase my character's effectiveness?
I don't think Viagra
Thank you.
fortifies seed. It fortifies something else. So I think that's not good. Like, the Viagra is for the delivery system and not the product itself. That's like saying, are the hot dogs going to be, or not, hot dog is just the word I'm on, but let's say you're like, are the loaves of bread going to be better because we are using a better truck or a different truck to carry the bread from one store, like from the bakery to the store? So I don't think so. I don't think you should make that swap. I think those are different products. But I see where you're going with that. But yeah, anyways, so that's we got the bonuses. To all the people that couldn't play, kind of sucks. But now there's these bonus days, which will be pretty nice. And then as they said here, so the bonuses, it's April 4th. Is this DDO bonus day? Is this last week? Yes, last week. Some people were upset also because they missed out on the Guild Renown, because they really wanted the Guild Renown to be on it, so they are in fact bringing it back with 25%. I've never cared about Guild Renown but there are people that do. So it is going to be back this weekend. Obviously, unfortunate if you can't play this weekend, but you know, it is what it is. Anyways, for me, as somebody who wasn't playing, it's not all that bad. So that is what we're going to be doing here instead. So yeah, I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to keep working on, you know, Shader Kai and all that. I'd love to tell you about my exploits, running around and doing all sorts of cool things in the video game The Path of the Exile. But if I'm being honest with you, I didn't really do a terribly high amount of playing a Path of Exile because, not that it's like it just wasn't as fun. I just didn't enjoy it as much. I wasn't having so much fun, so I haven't really gotten into it yet. That is also what happened to me with the last league as well, where I didn't really play it a lot for the first, like, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then I got really into it, so sometimes it just takes time for these things to happen. You just gotta let yourself ease into these things. Red will get the buff, yeah. And permaban. I don't even know what that is, but you're permabanned. Enjoy your permanent removal. This is what happens when I hope that, or I leave the ability for people to post links in chat with the goal of being like, oh yeah, you can post links in chat if you want. And then as a result, if people want to link something, they can, and it works well for everybody, is that it opens up the opportunity for bots to spam links everywhere so nobody can actually read or see anything. Which is not great. It is kind of unfortunate. Fun fact, I instituted a change in the Discord to try to prevent a lot of the unfortunate spam that has happened in there in the past little bit. It's not a lot, but it is more than I would have liked, which is more than 0. So I instituted a couple change. And in that change, I have caught, as far as I can tell, all of the bots, and a lot of them. So that's been great. And by bots, they're actually not bots, which is one of my favorite parts. Is that you can actually see their, like, you can find these, like, accounts, and they're people that have compromised accounts. So I want to preface this and try to make this as clear as I can. If you get a message from a friend, okay, and this applies not just to Discord, this could apply to your email, this could apply to anything else. If you get a message from a friend, okay, and they send you a link to a website, and they don't tell you anything about it, they just send you a link, whether it's a a bit link, so that way it's like shortened, so you can't actually read all of it. If it's a link to a Discord that you're not familiar with, and they don't tell you, or if it's an email, something like that, okay, and they don't tell you anything about what's going on, don't click it. Inform your friend or somebody you know that they are in fact having their account has been compromised, and then disconnect from that person. It happens to too many people where they don't realize that. They click on something, and then their account is gone. Yeah, it's not ideal. And as I said, because people assume that the Discord is a bunch of bots. They are bots, but they're bots using actual real people's accounts, and they get access to real people's accounts because people don't know enough about phishing and how to appropriately prevent it. So anyway, that's my bit of advice to all of you. Just keep that in mind, as I said, because I can see it on my end. So I can actually see the bots and what they've been posting. And I can go into their account information history. I can see, like, there's somebody with account from 2017. Like, somebody's 2017 account just got annihilated. I can see, like, the Discords they're in and other stuff. And it's sad. It's just not a good thing. So don't lose your account. Pay attention. And, yeah, just be careful on the internet. So yeah. Anyway, I hope that is a nice, clear message for some of you. And if it's not good enough, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, the email spoofing as well is also another big one. You can solve some of this problem on your own. One of the tricks to bypassing the email spoofing is don't read your email. So if you don't read any of your emails, it can be destructive to other elements of your life. Let's say if you're like, oh, I'm trying to, you're looking at a mortgage and you're corresponding with a mortgage broker, and you have to check your email to, like, keep in touch with what's going on with them and make sure you guys are both on the same page. That's important. But also, you could get scammed in your email. So if you never check your email, yeah, it's destructive to your whole life and all the things you're trying to do, but you can't get scammed. Similarly, just turn the phone off, turn the computer off, and you're all set. Yeah, exactly. Delete all your files. I will say the integrated nature of the I'm not somebody who's like a technology doomer. I think new technology is cool. I'm still waiting for like kind of like the cartoon adjacent future. We're like close to some of that, but like when I was a kid, we'd have like cartoons and other things, TV shows that would depict like this very stylized sort of sci-fi future, and I'm still waiting for that to happen in that exact way. And while it hasn't happened yet, it could, these sorts of things could happen. Is it off? There it is. So I'm still waiting for some of that to actually take place. We have a lot of it. The smartphones do a lot in terms of like, being like the weird sci-fi future of how dystopian it is that you can just have your phone in your hand and get access. Not dystopian, but how neat it is you can have access to all of the information collective of human history in your hand. But then also how it like, how much time do you spend online and what's really real and what do you actually see? Like all these things they kind of spook me out. And I was watching a video. It was like either yesterday or today. I can't remember. That's even worse. But I was watching a video by YouTube content creator Eddie Burback, who bought the Apple Vision thing, like the $3,500 Apple Vision product, and he was like, basically wanted to talk about it and review the product, kind of. But the thing he found most profound about it was that he just felt like disconnected from people, because even though he's like wearing this like headset thing on his face that allows him to stay connected and do all this other stuff, it just feels like weird, and he has like screens and monitors all on his face all the time. And I think about the future that I imagined as a kid of like, yeah, dude, you just have like I don't know, you see people like looking into mirrors or pieces of glass that suddenly turn into like a screen. You can see stuff on it or something, or you can imagine something in your head, or like the classic, you have like, some type of military adjacent character, and they need to check something, so they like look at their arm pad and they just lift up their arm and they're doing a thing, and there's like a holographic screen. They'd be like, man, that's like so cool. And then the closer we get to that actual style of thing possibly becoming reality, the more my brain goes like, man, that's nerve-wracking. It's a kind of a weird feeling. I don't know. As I get older, it's something that kind of spooks me out more and more. Not that something like that will even ever happen in my lifetime, but as commercially available. That was glaringly obvious to me. So like the email thing where it's like, yeah, you can't tell whether something is an email from your friend or you don't know who to trust on the internet, and then it's like, then all of a sudden you don't even know what is or isn't the internet, where the world all starts to blend together. Woo.
You hear the unmistakable.
Like, oh, so are you gonna resist it? Are you gonna be part of the resistance? No, dude. I'm a sheep. Sheep all day, all night. Absolutely. I've never understood why there's like in the movie The Matrix, like I kind of understand it, where like, the humans, they break out of the Matrix and they're like, yeah, we're gonna live in the real world. This is what it's actually like, and they can actually be alive and do their own things. But like, they live in dirt and rocks, and in the Matrix it's like computer world, where like, yeah, it's the 90s, so the computers suck, but I don't know, you got like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and like I don't know, probably some good stuff on TV. Maybe you can watch the reruns of Friends. It's not the worst, it's not the best. It's better than Dirt and Rockland. So it's like, I don't know. Also, this chain is off the chain. Good old chain stuff. I don't know. I'm just like talking about nothing. Unrelated. At some point later today, I'm going to be setting up a thing for people. I don't think I'm going to do it today. I might do it later today. But I was given a code, or a series of codes to give away on stream for a video game called Hexadome, which has a closed beta going on today. So I have closed beta keys. I, myself, am going to be playing it on stream. So I will be giving those away during the stream when I do that. I just haven't decided if I'm doing that today or tomorrow, because I don't know. I might do it later today. But the plan is to kind of do that. So if you are interested in that at all, or if you've heard me talk about it before, because I talked about the game a whole bunch, we'll be doing that at some point soon. Literally, that needs to make the cutoff 2004. I mean, I'd be okay with that. I haven't watched those movies in a long time. I think the main reason is because of all those insufferable people who are like, actually, the only way to enjoy the Lord of the Rings trilogy, is to watch the full extended Ultra Edition cuts where you get to see the cast members take bathroom breaks in between each of the scenes. It's like, yeah, I get it. Maybe it like adds some more things to the movie, but it's like the worst way to experience those movies, honestly. You go from like already a pretty long, like 5.5 hour experience to like 8 hours. And there's a reason why a lot of those scenes were cut. It's not that they're not interesting. It's that, well, actually, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a lot of like a boring jibber jabber. It's just not really important. So yeah, I don't know. And the only people that I know that want to watch the movie are like, yeah, you gotta watch it with like the super ultra, you know, extended edition that never ends. It just keeps looping, and you get the chair that you're sitting on just binds you in place. Some of you might be offended because you are one of those people, and I don't know how to help you with that, but you know, good luck. Like, no, man, but it is the best way to experience the movies. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I was gonna say, what type of game? So Hexadome, the best way I can describe it is I should probably get a thing. Yeah, I should probably make a bot command. I think I will do that real quick here, as I can. I'm just gonna close my LFM for a sec, so I can do this. But I'm gonna make a bot command. Actually, I should figure out how to do like something I don't know is how to do a raffle, which I'm certain I have the power to do. But I have literally no clue how to do that.
For my kind. Our safety.
Oh, never mind. I do know how to do that.
By sword and blood.
Oh, ho, ho. So I'll turn that on later. Okay, so I literally have that, so we can actually do that. But I'm gonna make a quick bot thing, which is so people can see. Where is this? Okay, so I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna just make a bot thing, real quick. So this will be this. I don't know what the words you use to describe this product. It's good. I'm gonna look this up. How do they describe it? They describe it as a there we go. Okay, so this should go. I don't know if it'll go on its own, but it should. Okay, anyway, so I'm just gonna pull it up here because I was looking at it. Oh, the developers, are they playing the game? Are they really? It's apparently loading, so I don't know if they are actually playing the game. But this is the game we're gonna be doing, or I'm gonna be playing later, either today or tomorrow. Go away. Hexadome is basically a tactical, it's like a turn-based tactical kind of sporting sort of game. The best way I can describe it is that it's a combination between XCOM, so it's got all the XCOM mechanics you know and love, like missing 98% and then losing an entire round, and all the tactical combat. It has your favorite characters like you would get from Overwatch with all these cool, like, over-the-top different characters with powers and other stuff that you have to build a team around. And then it's like Blood Bowl, where it's all about the specifics of positioning, placement, and what you do in your turn matters quite a bit. So it's a sporting game. So there is, like, you know, your direct level of violence where people will shoot each other with guns and kill each other. But also it looked pretty interesting. So I got the chance to play it. So we'll be doing some of that later, and I'll be giving away a bunch of keys for people to be able to play it later on. Because it was kind of cool. Yeah, it's a PvP game. They do have, like, bots and stuff, but for the most part, it's a PvP game. Yeah, it's turn-based strategy. Yep. This next time, I think they're both good. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's like a cross between XCOM, Overwatch, and Blood Bowl. How much better is Chains and Whirlwind Attack? I'm going to say Chains is... Base Chain Attack is probably about 70 to 100% better. And the second level of Chain Attack is about 200% better.
The only solution is
If I had to
the
guess.
one I
There we go.
see
There you go.
before
So now you can see it. There's the link. So yeah, so I'll be giving away some keys. It should be fun. These movies is pictures that appear in children's books. Is that how that works? Oh, give me the location, please. Teleport. But yeah, so it's it definitely does have, like, you know, as you mentioned, like that kind of like Overwatch adjacent graphical style, because it's got you're playing basically a game of sport, and so the characters are all like flashy and brightly colored, and you represent different teams, and you have your team, and then you have to get like sponsors for your team and other stuff. But again, the actual gameplay mechanics is tactical, turn-based, and it's also very hard. It is very hard. It's very easy to make a bunch of bad decisions and get completely bodied, and not having a great way to recover. So it is the sort of thing that rewards you very heavily for, like, you know, taking your time, thinking through your plays, and making better decisions.
This door
Yeah.
has not been used in quite some time.
Like any good strategy game should. 100% of the time? Exactly. They made Quick Cutter an epic version. Yeah. I think that the chain attacks are kind of better than Quick Cutter, which says a lot about the updates to chain. I kind of on the fence about it. I do think that the chain attacks definitely are like a little bit of an overreach in terms of how much power you can put into an ability in a heroic character. But that being said, they're very powerful, they're very fun, and you're limited to being a Shader Kai if you want to play one, so you're locked out of other different types of racial abilities. And the final point, at least for me, when it comes to using these abilities, is that they were really bad for so long. And I think having an iconic ability, like the ability to swing a cool spiked chain around and, like, wreck people, like, that should be good in the video game, if that makes sense. Like, that's something that, in my opinion, should just be, like, in the video game and just should be good. Because somebody is going to pick, like, Shader Kai because they hear the chain attack, and then be like, wow, that sounds pretty cool, and then use it, and if it's not good, that's kind of disappointing, because that's, like, the character's, like, whole thing is, like, the big chain. That's how they kill you in, like, quests. You know, it's a huge part of it. So, having this, like, very interesting element, to me, personally, I think it's better to have it be on the more powerful side, thematically, and for the game as a whole, than in terms of just a balanced perspective. I do think that the spike chain attack is a little too strong for heroics, and honestly, probably epics, but, I do personally think that it's probably better off being slightly overtuned than the alternative. Because the other thing as well is that even with Spike Chain Attack being very, very powerful, it is not the, like, only existing build at endgame. Lots of different builds are played, so that's why I don't see it as being much of an issue. Yeah, the bigger issue with Spike Chain Attack is that it has too many things that are good as well. It's got a gigantic area of effect. So, like, if I spike chain, I'm kind of hitting everything in the room. Like, look at the size of the area. So that's why it's, like, it's really hard to quantify, and why I gave the answer of it's, like, 70 to 100% better. Because it is a lot better, but it's also the fact that, like, it's got a huge area on it. And that huge area is nothing to scoff at, man. Like, it's twice the size of Whirlwind Attack. So Whirlwind Attack is going to hit monsters out to about this wall, whereas Chain Attack, I can hit monsters from here. Like, that's huge. Should it be that big? I don't know. But it is. Look how far away the spider was, and I got him. It's great. And again, this isn't to say that people don't run Shader Kai with chains at the end game, but that there are a lot of people that don't for a lot of good reasons. Because there's, you know, Shader Kai doesn't really give you a lot of other different types of powers outside of that. Although displacement all the time is kind of cool. Chain be a reasonable change. Yeah, they could make it slower and more clunky.
As the final general falls,
Then you basically just never use it on a single target scenario.
door opening.
No, the chains one that you get killed by in quests is not the bleed. It's the direct damage that goes right to the face. It's what kills you. You can make chain an SLA, and how would that change it? Question mark? How would chain being an SLA change it at all? I'm not sure. Join stream. What build is this? This is CHAIINNNZZZZ Dragon Lord using Bard for swashbuckling chains with a hand axe. God, just describing DDO builds is always so funny to me. What are you playing? Well, it's like, and then I just need to talk for 8 to 10 minutes.
Leader of the Blackheart Trolls.
It would make it worse than exactly like old. Yeah, they could make it back like the old chain, which was just like a spell that didn't scale off any of your weapon stats, which was very, very bad. You also couldn't use it while moving. Like, they did a lot of changes to the spike chain attack to make it better. I don't really want them to go back on that. I would say the only change I would make if I was designing it is I would probably remove the +1 multi from regular spike chain attack and then drop greater spike chain attack down to +1 multi instead of +2. If I was to adjust anything.
Of ledges and rock.
But even then, I don't think they should nerf it. I'm saying if somebody thought that they should, you know, that's an option that they could go with. But I don't think that the effect requires any or warrants any type of nerf, anything like that. I think it's fine as is, in my personal opinion. All right, let's go here and go in here. So, I don't know if I have enough jump to be able to climb the walls, so I might have to use my hireling, which is annoying because this is a sketchy area to try to use the hireling on by yourself. Yeah, it's just like the Sonic Blast nerf. That's me, dude. Okay, so there is no trap here, but I can detect those traps. So you go in there, buddy. Get him. I think it's my first time summoning a hireling since reincarnation. Of the Shader Kai. I like the way my character looks. Excuse you. I have I'm a huge fan of the way my Shader Kai looks. It looks great. Look at the cool blue hair. Do you have enough jump? I mean, surely, but do I? I didn't put any points into it. I have 36, which might be one off. I believe you need 37. Better with blue hair? Yeah, that's why I dyed my hair blue. Of course it's better with blue hair. Everything's better with blue hair. Haven't you guys heard of Ninja? I think you need 37. Which, the reason why you do the jump is exclusively because of the... there's one section here that's just hard to get through by yourself. Remove my armor? I don't think my armor has a maximum dex penalty, but it might have one. Armor check penalty is 0, so no, it doesn't work. I'm pretty sure it's 37. If I can't do it at 38, we'll never know, so we'll find out. Is that if a card makes it go faster? Yeah, that's just how that works. I'm always surprised by how in video games there are so few vehicles that have fire or like flames painted on the side of them. That's like the exact thing that I would want. Okay, so I don't have a search item yet. So the fact that I can search stuff is very good. Very convenient. Good thing I have past lives. This is why past lives are great. Okay, so there's more traps in here. So I don't think I can get this. And I can't force my guy to cast prayer either. So we'll see. And I don't know if there's anything I can do to increase my jump. But let's hang out, see what happens. I'm like certain it's 37. Oh, 36. Come on, dude. 36. Save me. Come on, 36. 36. Yeah, I'm like 1 or 2 short. And I don't think I have a way around this. But I should have something I can do here. I don't. Alright. So, I'm going to get you to pull this lever here. No, do that. Nobody. 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 No, stay here. Oh, God. Alright, so you go in here. Alright. Yeah, no, you're good. You need to stay there. So I believe I can get him to pull that, which should lock me in here. And then I can just pull this lever, which will release me. And also open the door. How? Oh, I guess because the thing was closed. It was open. Right, that makes sense. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. Right. No, the door was open. The door was open. The door was open. The door was open. I spaced on the order of operations. Anyway, it's fine. He did a great job. Big fan. So good work, Darren. An excellent companion here. What use of those Reaper wings? Yeah, I wish I did have blue Reaper wings because I am the blue dragon over here. I'm doing blue dragon lord, so I was kind of hoping that would fit. I got the dragon scale armor, you know, I got the blue hair, but yeah. Guys, get out of here. Also, I will say, having access to displacement on a fighter is really convenient. Now, I actually can get access to displacement all the time from Dragonlord, which is another one of the reasons why Dragonlord would be insane for Hardcore League, is because of this ability right here, Untouchable Soul. In a lot of cases, you're not leveling on Reaper mode, and since you're not leveling on Reaper mode, there are way fewer monsters that have access to True Seeing. A lot of champions have True Seeing, but many of them don't unless they're on Reaper. Even a lot of the ones that don't have it on unless they're on Reaper mode. It's like one of those final effects that they get. So for the most part, it's actually not that bad. Hard to come by those. Oh, you don't need combinations of. So if you're just looking for the like the low-level one, like the cosmetic, you don't need combinations. You can get it by just using the heroic scales instead of the epic ones. The epic ones you need the comms, the heroic ones you don't. So yeah. What's that bar? Oh, these are the tumble charges. So back in the day, you used to tumble around and it did literally nothing, but you could do it freely whenever you wanted to. So you could just be like, I want to tumble today, and then just like roll around on the ground. Again, it had no function, it didn't do anything, but you were allowed to do it in the game. Then they made a change so that tumble stopped having, like, it didn't stop you from walking, so you could tumble whenever you wanted, which was kind of cool. It basically meant that you could dodge in and around attacks. However, the problem that they ran into after that is that people used their tumble to move around really quickly, and they were rolling around like it was Legend of Zelda over here, tumbling at the speed of sound, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they just didn't like the play pattern, and it's their video game, so whatever. And so they changed it, so now you have tumble charges. So you can't tumble constantly, you can only tumble when you have a charge to be able to tumble. However, the trade-off is that tumbling is insanely powerful. So when I tumble, I use one of my charges, but then for that 1 second while I am tumbling, my character gains a 95% dodge chance. So I'm basically unhittable by enemies, which is pretty convenient. On top of that, you also gain bonuses to your dexterity equal to your reflex equal to your tumble check. So my tumble, when I do this, I'm going up to 73, and it goes back to 34. Same thing. My dodge chance here is 16, but when I tumble, it goes up to 95. So you can use that in combat to get out of the way of dangerous enemies and to keep yourself alive, which I did a lot of when I was doing R10s. All of a sudden, I'm getting attacked by a Doom Reaper, and when I notice its claw come down, I can just tumble out of the way, take no damage, and then keep fighting it as if nothing happened. It's pretty convenient. Like old dodge from Shadow Dancer? No. So old dodge from Shadow Dancer was a cooldown. So you press the button, and then you just couldn't get hit for 20 seconds. You don't have to. You just press the button, and then you could like hands off keyboard. Whereas this one, you have to tumble to dodge out of the way. It's basically if a big hit's coming for you, a big champ, a Reaper, the raid boss turns to hit you, you can just tumble and you don't take any damage.
A maze of ledges and rock.
And yeah, we're getting blue dragon wings as a gift, but that's not happening now.
Who created such a place?
That's my problem.
Peace, my kin. For
Not
my
now, dude.
actions will wipe
Want
away
today, I don't got any
all
patience.
our pain.
Would making Reaper wings give you a dash and 10-minute cooldown like Kenneth jump boots be a bad idea? I mean, they could do that. I don't know why they would do that, but they could. I don't think it's a good or a bad idea. I don't think it matters. I'm sure there's probably some like critical mass of jumps where if you have like too many of them, you could do something goofy, but I can't imagine, since especially it's only horizontal movement. And there's like no real dungeon where you start high up that you can just dash somewhere really far away and escape from. And even then, stringing together Abundant Step plus Spring Attack plus Dragon Wings plus something else, like, you can probably get it done anyway. Any ideas on what the new race may be? What new race? I don't know what you're talking about. No level 1s to have a dash skill. Yeah. I also think it would make some people upset because some people will find it annoying, the idea of having a you were told it will have a new race? Oh, no, I've never heard anything about that. So I don't know where you got that information, but I literally have never heard that before. Like, you're the first person that's told me that, so I don't know. But yeah, when it comes to the idea of putting that, there's like the question of like the power scale of like, it's another thing that the haves, people who have Reaper points and all that, will be able to get access to that the have-nots won't. So, you know, somebody who has been playing the game for hundreds of thousands of hours, who has already done all the Reaper mode and stuff, will now have this dash where they can get even farther ahead of players who don't have access to those same tools, which might not be, again, a wanted play pattern.
Are we? We have become wicked and worthless.
Yes, it's going to depend. Ready to log in? Yeah, every month there's something free to claim. This month it's an entire adventure pack. You get 3 new quests with really, really, really good gear, and they're also really fun with custom music and everything. One of the quests has 7 pieces of custom music in it because it's a very deep and involved quest, and it's fantastic, by the way. So there's a lot of really good quests. They're fun, and they're free if you just claim them right now. Might be an archetype. They did say an archetype was coming with the expansion. So that is something that will be coming. They said the expansion is going to feature a brand new archetype. What'll it be? Who knows? Could be anything. Maybe it's going to be Argent Savant, the archetype I've been wanting from Saints Games for years. I did not see the new Godzilla movie. My brother did, and he said it was pretty good. And he's a big Godzilla fan. He loves all the monster movies and stuff, and he said it was pretty good. So I trust his opinion. Generally, with monster movies. Okay, just go here. Control panel. Don't get hit. Don't get seed. No one needs to know. Get him. Chain attack. And unfortunately, you can't sunder Plague Reapers, so I can't reduce their fortification. So, yeah. Druid archetype. Watch this space. Yeah, maybe. Again, the only archetype I really care about is getting an Argent Savant, so every patch that it's not that, I don't really care. It's the only thing I want. We already have a Druid archetype? Yeah, but Saints Games said that they aren't really concerned with making sure every class has an archetype. They're instead just going to go off of whatever they want to design, which to me I think is the better way to go about it. I would much prefer SSG designs the archetypes based on, like, they have, like, an idea. You know what I mean? They're like, this is what we want to design, and they have, like, a clear design point with it. As opposed to, like, designing, going like, okay, well, you know, we don't have a Barbarian archetype, so let's try to figure one out and fill it as the last slot. Like, if somebody has this, like, really great idea, and they can put the tech together for, like, another cool Bard archetype, I'd rather have, like, a cool, good idea than, you know, getting the idea that feels like it was forced. Like, somebody had to sit and try to come up with something that isn't really wanted by the team. 5 archetypes in a row? Yeah, maybe. Probably have to be what Wizards of the Coast is doing, or adjacent. Yeah, actually, they said this in the, what do you call it? Welcome. They said this in the in-person interview thing. But basically, the long and short of it is that they, you would think that that would be the case. That's actually not the case, last shot. Because apparently they basically don't want DDO coming out with something that is related to what they're doing. Because if they do that, then they set a standard. So what I mean by that is, like, if DDO comes out and, like, releases, like, something cool, like an expansion or something, and it's really cool and a lot of people really like it, then that's, like, the standard that our people are going to be expecting, or the scale or whatever it is for whatever the actual, like, pen and paper game releases or whatever their books are. And apparently they don't like that, and so they don't do that. So that's one of the reasons why what DDO does and what Wizards of the Coast does seems to be, like, in a lot of cases, disconnected. some people might be like, yeah, but, you know, they did Saltmarsh around the same time as Saltmarsh, and there's Vecna stuff around the same time as Vecna. And, like, both of those things are true, but, like, also in between all of that, Wizards had tons of other releases that were going all at the same time. Like, in the past, like, 3 years, they've gone through pretty much all the classic content and made, like, 5th edition modules for most of them.
Protect Patrick the Maniacal at all costs.
Yep. But yeah, but when Motu came out, that was also when DDO was being funded by Warner Brothers, which is a very different scale, where, like, Wizards maybe wants to play nice with Warner Brothers, and I don't know how much Wizards cares about their involvement with Daybreak. They probably care a little bit, but yeah. Again, this isn't me saying, like, so this is, because for me, I always found this kind of odd. I was like, why is it that there isn't, like, more direct call-outs from Wizards of the Coast? Why isn't there more direct involvement from Wizards of the Coast? Because it's like, you know, why isn't there, like, something where if they're gonna do, like, you know, a Magic expansion about, like, Magic cards or something, why isn't there, like, also a DDO or, like, a Magic expansion about, like, somewhere in Faerun? Why don't they do the same thing for, like, DDO and just, like, kind of loop it all in and do one big thing? And it's because they want to make sure their first-party stuff is, like, more consistent, and they don't want to have DDO, which is like, you know, basically a third-party product, having an influence on the sales of their other things, which is, like, interesting to hear. But it was I'm like, all right, I guess. I don't know, man. Hey, like, I don't run big companies, so I don't know how it works. Somebody say chains? I did, yeah. I should have been wearing my chains shirt, but it's in the wash. Damn. What are you gonna do? So yeah. So it would be kind of cool. They had me at chains. Nice. Thanks, Tavern Tales. I really should have, or it would be cool to see you know, some more direct involvement from, you know, Wizards or something like that. I think it'd be kind of cool, but yeah, it's just something you don't see very often.
Deafening hum emanates from the room ahead.
That's just stupid, greedily stupidity. So, I mean, I can't talk too much to that, because as I said, I don't really, the only Wizards product I engage in is Dungeons and Dragons. And so, like most people who play Dungeons and Dragons, you know, I look at a lot of the stuff online, but I don't necessarily buy everything. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't own, like, I own the 5e handbook, and I own the 5e DMG and Monster Manual, but, like, I haven't really bought a lot of the secondary books around it, and, like, I also haven't bought, yeah, so I haven't done that, but I also didn't buy, like, you know, like, Tash's Cauldron of Everything or whatever. I didn't buy that book because I just didn't really care, and most of the stuff I wanted, like, it's on a wiki somewhere, so I can just Google it. So, like, if it's Wizards being greedy or something with regards to Dungeons and Dragons, I don't really know. I don't buy a ton of their products, if I'm being totally honest. You know, which kind of sucks for Ezra because D&D is a very wax and wane kind of product. It is. It very much is. Yeah, but I don't pay for Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is free, dude. Because I just play MTG Arena, and then I use the cards that I get for free. And then I play Alchemy. So that way, it's a smaller format, which is great. The Slash Guy's got 5e license. It's a fairly small video studio. Yeah. Yep. Again, when it comes to pretty much anything that brings, you know, goodwill so that people can, like, learn and hear about the product, I think is generally going to be good for D&D. They just need to keep, like, making good products. And there's a lot of smart people out there who are also going to make good products. Again, I think one of the harder issues is when it comes to, like, adaptations of things. Video games make a lot of sense. And then stories based on, like, campaign settings also make a lot of sense. But those negotiations get a lot more complicated depending on who physically owns those things. So what I mean by that is, like, look at the D&D movie, right? So Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Some people will go, that's a D&D movie. But, like, it's not a D&D movie. It's a movie about characters in the world of Faerun, or in the Forgotten Realms. It's a Forgotten Realms movie. People don't realize that. They might be like, well, Forgotten Realms is D&D. I mean, it's inspired by, for sure. It's a campaign setting used in some Dungeons and Dragons games, both video games and in tabletop. You can buy rules for that, and there are novels written about it. But, you know, it's not, like, intrinsically tied to D&D. Like, you can strip out a lot of what was in D&D from these stories. Because Dungeons and Dragons is a set of rules. That's what it is. It's a complicated part. You know, at the beginning of Dungeons and Dragons, the whole point is for you to sit down and create a world with your friends and, like, kind of build something. That's why you have the game master, somebody who, like, writes the stories and does all these things. Yeah, of course, they were selling modules and other stuff, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But, you know, it's the that's kind of the core thing. Is you can make a thing. You can just design it however you want. And so Forgotten Realms, of course, is a harder sell because no one knows what that is, and they know what Dungeons & Dragons is. So any Dungeons & Dragons media that they want to make is basically wholly disconnected from any other thing. Yeah, exactly. Like, one of the issues that, you know, I think they probably run into quite heavily when trying to make, like, a D&D adjacent product, so whether it's, like, you know, Honor Among Thieves or something, some of you might have seen that League of Legends television show, Arcane, that did super duper well. League of Legends is both a game with also a concrete story. Well, concrete, it's more like a Jello story where they, like, kind of change it whenever they, or no, it's like, or like a puzzle piece story where they just change out pieces whenever they feel like it to other stuff because they want to rewrite the lore every 2 months. But end of the day, it still has, like, the game has a centered story with characters and other things and people and what have you. And the TV show uses those set pieces, those characters, and those places. It doesn't really follow the rule of League of Legends because it's not really about League of Legends. It's more about the characters and the story, which is also why it's called, like, Arcane, you know, League of Legends story, because it's more about this other thing, which is perfectly fine. But again, for D&D, you don't realize, like, somebody watching that movie will not realize that the D&D movie has basically nothing to do with Dungeons & Dragons, which isn't necessarily bad, but it might be confusing when they go to play D&D, and they're like, yeah, I saw this Aarakocra or something, and they're like, that seems kind of cool. Maybe I could play that with my friends. And then their friends are like, no, dude, this is Eberron. There are no Aarakocra here. What are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, but it was in the D&D movie. And it's like, no, that's Faerun. That's not the same thing. And you're like, what? Now, most people will, you know, obviously, understandably, be patient and calm and help people understand things, because that's the wonderful part about the D&D community is that, for the most part, people are welcoming and inviting more than the opposite. Yeah, there are some, like, shitters out there that suck in the D&D community, but that's going to be the case for, like, pretty much any online community. But yeah, it's a great thing. Yeah, it's like trying to make an Unreal Engine movie. Yeah, exactly. It's complicated. Gonna be up before, like, 2029? Yeah, but that's fine. Just keep it in the oven. A gold roll thingy? Nope. Not yet. We'll do it later. But yeah, anyway, my point is that it's difficult when introducing people to some of these topics, and so there's a lot of confusion. So I can see why Wizards of the Coast would want to, like, spread out their license and kind of have lots of people making different products, because they kind of need that backbone of games and people making art for stuff, and they really need that D&D title on the top of basically as much as they can get their hands on, where people are making whatever it is about D&D. But it's hard to get people into the franchise when the whole thing is predicated on, like, you know, the small piecewise stories and things that happen. It's also complicated because lots of people can influence the canon of these stories as well. So if you're trying to follow the canon events of a game, right? Like, some people were very upset about Larian's interpretation of Forgotten Realms because they felt like they changed the characterization of those characters. The problem is there isn't really a good argument for canonicity of the Forgotten Realms from the perspective of Wizards of the Coast kind of owns the idea, but they don't really. So it's very hard to, like, nail one thing down. It's like, well, this is an official product. It has the label on it. It has the gold seal of approval, so what are you going to do? And so it keeps, like, you know, trying to follow one of these verified stories kind of complicated as well. Yeah, exactly. So my point is more so that, like, it's just an uphill battle to try to sell Dungeons and Dragons, in my opinion, to the masses. That's probably also one of the reasons why they don't want something like Sandstone Games coming out with something and then, like, changing people's expectations or having something set up ahead of time before they've actually released something. Products and development with partners in internal studios? Yeah, probably. It makes sense.
Screams resonate through the locked door to the south.
When stuff comes out over a long time, it does. And from different authors and different people's perspectives.
Interrogator and several of his implements are clearly missing.
So yeah, it's complicated. I'm excited. I'm about to level up. Realizing anyone wanted it, but now they've gotten mobile game dollar signs in their eyes. Wait, do they? Is there like a mobile 40k game that makes a shitload of money? I don't know much about Warhammer because I have never really played Warhammer because Warhammer costs a shitload of money. So I don't know. It's over at Elminster's classes. Yo, that's how you know you've got nerds on your hand. People arguing about Elminster's classes. That's nerds, dude. I love that. That's awesome. Alright. Taking 16, then finishing giant hold 14s. Can the masses afford a dungeon or a dragon? How do you feed it? Is it whether they're hard to sell? They are. Yeah, 100%. Well, you got to think about it. You know how expensive it is to just, like, buy a house nowadays. Now you're getting a whole dungeon? Whew.
A strange creature carries someone inside here. It had a tiger face.
Wizard 24 Archmage 5? Look at all of that, man.
Of hatred.
Well, again, that's kind of like where, you know, I think of... I'm going to use comic books as an example. I don't really read a lot of comic books, but something I do appreciate about it is they kind of, like Marvel Comics is split up into different universes. So if somebody wants to tell a new story about an existing character, they just go, yeah, it's the same character, but, like, in another universe. It's all good. And so then that way it's like, oh, yeah, there's minor differences between characters. Yeah, it's different, like, different Spider-Man. It's not the same Spider-Man. Don't worry about it. And to me, I think it's, like, just a genius solution to solve that problem. So they can all be canon because they're all happening in different places at the same time. They're not actually the same things. They're self-contained individual stories, which to me I find, I don't know, it's an interesting way of delivering that narrative. Offhand versatility is good. Greater weapon spec is good. I think I am going to keep my offhand open. Plus melee power. Tactical Baton and Master. I do need Tactical Master, so I'm going to take this, actually. Because I definitely need that for just general use purposes. And also, I now have Swashbuckling Style Open Hand, which gives me plus 10 Double Strike, which is quite good. Okay, so now we go to 14, and then we go here, and then we go here, and Cabal for 1, and Cabal for 1 is next. And so I can see more companies, more businesses doing stuff like that. Like D&D can do that. And to invest more into online stuff. I mean, that makes sense. Like, I guess here's what I'll say about this. It's always shocking to me how, like, there's so many tactical video games. Right? Just think about how many tactical video games there are. Just, you can name like 10 off the top of your head, or games that have like those types of like tactical gameplay or assets or whatever, where it's like you're on a grid moving characters and doing stuff, which is like very much in the wheelhouse of what Dungeons and Dragons is. You know, there's so many of these games. And so the idea of having an online client that makes it easy to play Dungeons and Dragons as a first party program, the fact that, you know, Wizards bought D&D Beyond, which is not even the client or the program, but it's just the hosting site for these tools, and still doesn't have this first-party D&D computer program, is, like, shocking to me. That's so weird. I guess it kind of makes sense because they don't really design video games, I guess. They just design they send out a license for the video game. But, you know, it just feels like that's one of those things that you would want to pay for in one of these types of companies. So, like, as an example, for those of you that play card game, I've been recently playing through MTG Arena, and it's fun. I still enjoy logging in and losing a few games every once in a while. And so it's a pretty neat experience. But MTG Arena is, like, not the first computer program that allows you to play Magic the Gathering. There has been many computer programs before that. And so it's interesting that, you know, it took them a while, but obviously, again, there's, like, the cost associated with it. How much money do you have to spend to, like, invest in a product and make it good, and then it has to be the actual representation, versus if somebody else makes something, and then you can just shrug it off as, like, well, you know, that's just one of the video games made by somebody we gave the license to. It's not directly related to us, etc., and they can keep trying again. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. It's a good video game system? Yeah, but, like, you're just missing out on a market. You know what I mean? Again, I'm going to use Magic cards as a great comparison because I think that, well, one, I'm pretty sure that people that play Magic cards, in general, like to play their, like, if they own physical Magic cards, would rather sit down at a table with some other people playing Magic cards than whip on MTG Arena and play Magic cards. Like, if you own the physical property, you want to go somewhere and then beat someone's ass with your cards. And so that, I don't think that experience would, like, disappear. And I don't think, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure people still play in-person Magic the Gathering. I was at PAX recently, and I started playing MTG Arena last year. Playing Arena, again, you can just do it on the computer. You don't have to leave the house. I don't even have to own the cards. They give me a bunch of free cards and I can start playing. So you would think that with a system where you can play anybody whenever you want on whatever system and do all this, that'd be kind of cool. Why would people play in person? What's the point? And then I go to PAX and they had a tournament. A big tournament. Like, it's huge. And there was tons of people there. And there were lines to play. And there was money involved. I didn't play because I'm bad at the game. And I don't have Magic cards. But, like, I think that people will still be willing to play these things in person. And so from my perspective, when I think of it from, like, the whole, like, yeah, why don't they have a client? I don't think it has to be able to do everything that Dungeons & Dragons is capable of. But, like, you know, Roll20, Foundry, other programs I don't know about that you can use as a facsimile to play Dungeons & Dragons on the computer. I'm just kind of shocked that, you know, WotC doesn't own something like that. Like, you guys are right when you say that, you know, Dungeons & Dragons doesn't turn into a good video game, because you're correct. It doesn't. I'm talking about, like, a system of playing Dungeons & Dragons on the computer. Yeah, Fantasy Grounds. Like, these are websites that exist that get, like, 70% of the way there, and then the rest of it, you kind of got to do a lot of hand-waving and theater of the mind to kind of get it to work.
Issues from beyond it. King Bendex has ordered your death.
But that's kind of like the limitation of the medium, and it's also the limitation of, like, in-person Dungeons & Dragons. Some people will, like, make special, like, terrain pieces and other stuff to, like, really, like, liven up their game to make it feel more real. I don't do that. I draw it on paper with my very, very bad drawing skills, which you guys have seen on stream. And then I just start describing to my players what the area looks like, and I highlight certain areas, because that's the best that I can do. But my players like it because we're playing D&D, we're sitting at the table, we're having a good time, we're going on an adventure, they're exploring stuff, and they kind of just have to use a little bit of their imagination. You can do that with the online program. I know. That's what people do with these websites. Crucible. Crucible is easy to implement as a video game. If you in a tactical game, that is. Yeah, 100%. I meant more so that, again, just like a program that facilitates playing of Dungeons & Dragons, if that makes sense. More so than, like, a specific Dungeons & Dragons video game. I meant more so just a program that allows you to facilitate play. Is Wizard King immune to light damage? Light? No. Lightning, yes. Liches are immune to lightning and cold. Also, if you're using Searing Light, he's immune to that as well, because Searing Light's a 3rd level spell, and you need at least 4th levels, or 5th level spells or higher. So yeah. Because you know it's free, it just works with a few technical problems. I find that, for me, Roll20 had just, like, so many technical problems. I used it for years. And I had like the subscription, so I could import a bunch of stuff and share information, data with my players and with my friends who I was playing with. And again, it's a good program. I'm not saying it's like a bad tool, but there were a lot of things that I found frustrating with it, and also I was not willing to give them $35 a month to use their API. Go to hell. So I did not do that. Change spells. If you're doing Whiz King, you should be at least level 12. You can just hit him with Comet Fall. Unless you don't have access to Comet Fall. I don't know. Oh, I got him. Nice. A month? To use the API. So, for example, I use a program called Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is really cool. If you've never seen it before, it basically auto-generates maps for you, given a specification. And by auto-generates maps, I mean it just, like, does a lot of the simple stuff. So, like, if I'm designing a tavern, I can just drag and drop this square that I want, and then it starts to fill in, like, tables and chairs and other stuff, and just does a lot of the deco quickly for you. It's very convenient, and it's really nice. And with it, it has an import or an export function where you can export things directly into Roll20 and Foundry and Fantasy Grounds and other stuff like that. Actually, I don't think it has Fantasy Grounds. I think it has Roll20 and Foundry for sure. If I want to import, and when you export it, you can export it with all the lighting as well. So you can have the 3D file, you can have the lighting, you can have all this cool stuff. It's great. It's fantastic. However, even with all of that, if I want to export with all of that to Roll20, you need to have access to the API, which, again, is $35 a month. But if I want to use Foundry, I have to host the server myself, but it's $0. So, yeah. Yeah, Comet Fall. Just Comet Fall him, basically. They might have changed it since I stopped. I stopped paying for it. But back in the day, it was $35. I can even check on the subscription tools here. Give me a sec. Because I'm very confident it was a more, yeah, because I'm on free. Manage subscription. I hope this guy's coming because I need his help for doing this. Okay, so it is 8 pay every month. Wait, yeah, pay every month. So to use the API, it is $10 a month. It was not $10 a month when I wanted to use it. They must have changed their prices. I remember being dramatically more expensive because I was paying for it for $10 a month, and it gave you the earlier package. I haven't used Roll20 in over a year, so they might have changed it in the last year. Do I think it's going to get nerfed, and how would they nerf it? I don't think Dragonlord's going to get nerfed, and if any part of it was going to get nerfed, they probably are going to reevaluate how the Ravager Capstone works. Stay on I, please. Cool. I. So yeah. I don't think they're gonna adjust any of that. I don't think they care too much. Dragonlord isn't like overpowered in terms of like pushing out anything else. I guess it has like the melee crowd control thing on lock, but I don't know. If anything, I would imagine, I think they're just gonna keep things at the scale of where Dragonlord is right now. Unless something comes out where there's some crazy busted thing, I don't think so.
Beyond the barred gate, a crystalline horn rests on a pedestal.
Again, the main issue that I have with like Fighter, but Dragonlord is more expensive. Okay, with regular Fighter is that Dragonlord feels like what Fighter should be. Please. I mean, so I agree with you, last shot, but also that is literally how Kensai works. Like, what can't you get at a Kensai? The tactics only cost 1 now, so you can easily just take that. You can get the dodge, you can get the attack, you can get all the attacks in tier 5. Kensai is exactly the same. So, like, I agree that's like, yeah, you can kind of take everything in the whole tree, but you can do that with Kensai, so who cares? It's the same thing. Okay. Stream, do you know how much concealment 75% is on R10? Oh, yes. I do know the answer to that question. And the second question is going to be, okay, well, how much is it? Well, can't tell you. Sorry, dude. Every class is easy to level, I agree. But yeah, anyway. All I can say is that I'm not discounting the experience that you had where you did not pay a lot of money to get access to the API. All I am saying is that if it was $10, I wouldn't have thought about it, and I would have paid the money. And I didn't pay the money, so it couldn't have been $10 in the past. I vividly remember it being like $35. This is what they were charging. And I was like, that seems ridiculous, and I didn't pay for it. Dragon Lord really solid, really fun to run anything AOP. Yeah, like Dragon Lord seems like strong for sure, and there's a lot of cool multi-classing. Some people are kind of upset about the fact that you can't rage while using the trance, and to me, I think that that's fine because strength is currently the best way to scale damage in the game, and so having the best way to scale damage, having another secondary better way to scale damage, seems, you know, it's already the best option. So they would just be putting in a buff that would basically end up being mandatory for every single character using a similar build. Which, I don't know if is the best design. Reflex saves. Ooh, baby. Let's go here. Let's do this. Oh, I'm not in combat. Traps aren't combat, so I can just last, or not last stand, do the thing through traps. Here you go, buddy. I've played fighters since changed to tree. Yeah, they buffed Kensai last year, confusingly. And I remember myself and many others were like, why are they buffing Kensai? Like, one of the best trees in the game. And then they just buffed it. So it's even better. It's very good. Yeah, 100%. Well, I would say that a lot of people would know it. I don't think that everybody is going to know. I think that not everybody is as familiar with how some of the game puzzle pieces interact. And so much is obvious when you, like, look online. When you look online, you're going to find a lot of people with interesting ideas as for the level of balance in the game and how some things function or how good or bad some things are in relation to one another. So I can definitely believe that there are people out there that don't really understand what strength numbers are possible and achievable, and how much of an impact that would have on the entire state of the game if the strength trance could be used while raging. Because strength is really easy, or it's easy to get yourself almost like 16 extra points of strength, 16 to 20 points of strength while raging, which is like more than an item gives you at the highest level. So, you know, it's a lot of big number, you know. Keeps freezing. I hope the stream isn't freezing. It shouldn't be. They need to buff Vanguard. I've said this before and I will say it again. If they just make it so that the Vanguard tier 5 gives 20 melee power instead of 10 melee power, I think Vanguard's fine. But Paladin gets 20 melee power, or like Knight of the Chalice gets 20 melee power, and Kensai gets 20 melee power, and Vanguard, for some reason, just doesn't. G0, R2, he's on red. Yeah, Rage kind of already is the strength chance, exactly. Yeah, it could also just be Twitch, unfortunately. Twitch is one of those things that is on the computer.
As the puzzle wheel clicks into place.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But just from the circumstantial, because you can get some of those things from other places. Because obviously, if you're a Vanguard, you are a Knight of Chalice and a Kensai at the same time. That's what I'm saying for the mutually exclusive stuff. They can just, like, balance it out. Hello and welcome. We're in the Crucible. I forgot to update the LFM. My bad. YouTube side is smooth. It's always smooth. It's very annoying. Attack speed issues? Attack speed issues? What kind of attack speed issues? Oh god, I hit the wrong button. You can use Dragon Flight of Kings underwater. If you didn't know. So situations where you're going against current, you can just, like, Dragon Wings underwater. So, like, as an example, here, this thing is blowing against current, and I can just go whoop, and just go Flight of Kings through it. You can also do that with the Bear Charge out of Druid. Any modern charge released since like 2001, 2021-ish, 2020-21, can be used underwater. Why? I don't know, but you can do it underwater. Yeah, I know some people don't like the 1 second cooldown on the shield smashing, and I do understand that. The main issue they run into is that it just looks bad when you make the cooldown faster, because your character is just goofily just being like whoosh 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 with their shield going everywhere, and it kind of looks dumb from an animation perspective. My thought process is, could they scale the damage based on attack speed? So, like, if the damage of your shield increased proportionally to your attack speed, so if your attack speed is 30%, then the shield is 30% more damage on hit or something. So it would feel a little bit better with the 1 second cooldown, but yeah. Yeah, but the animation's really cool. Like, that's so cool how you, like, swing and then you, like, slam him with the shield. I don't know, I really like it. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy playing Vanguard, is, like, the class fantasy of hitting a guy with your shield. I don't know, like, when I think of a Vanguard, I think of somebody who, like, busts through the front line of, like, I don't know, enemies on the battlefield, and then, like, stabs a guy on the one side and then turns and slams somebody else with, like, the big shield. And, like, removing the concept of shield slamming from the shield slamming class is not... It's a solution. It's just personally one that I wouldn't want. I wouldn't really play Vanguard if they didn't have the class fantasy of hitting people with the shield. And it's like, yeah, but you still have, like, a couple of the shield attacks. And it's like, yeah, I guess, but it's so... Like, we have something that's so cool, the way it's built right now. So you could go backwards, but why would I want to? My Druid Barb with Ruin, realizing that I couldn't use while raging. Should I swap it for Blinding Speed? These are all bad options, Wolf Kobold. So Blinding Speed doesn't stack with Speed, the stat on items, and almost, like, it's basically impossible to build an endgame gear set, or even a, like, epic gear set that doesn't have at least one speed item. Hell, the Augment of Swiftness is level 20. And it's the feat Blinding Speed and an Augment. And then, yeah, you can't take Ruin on a Barbarian because it's a spell.
And they'll face the leaders of the Cloven Jaw and Arzak of
Yeah.
Goblins. Vral the Fearless.
Yeah, also a haste potion also solves that problem. True.
Lord Jorgandal wants no
I like that you just, like, spam displacement, which is kind of fun. My
Better to just lie down in the house so you don't get that reflect damage.
Not quite. It's because you're stronger than them? Yeah, there's something to that. Equal opposite reaction, something like that. Wait, did my stream crash? On my end, I literally never crashed. I'm still live. Well, Twitch is having a good day today. That's good. I'm literally looking on my end. This is the only day By the way, this is for the record the only day where Twitch has told me in the past like little while that it tells me my stream is fine. It's perfectly fine. Everything is good. There's no issues. Usually the other days it goes like, yeah, there's some type of problem here. But not today. It says everything is good. I love it. Yeah, I said take epic damage reduction, or if you have enough barbarian levels, improved barbarian damage reduction, which is good. I mean, that wouldn't be the first time. Look at that. Oh, video download was canceled. Look at that. Oh, the video download was canceled. What the fork does that mean? What?
This is
I've never seen that message before in my life.
The greater
Give that a
here
small
will
spike.
drive you mad, and only death will bring peace.
On a bluff
Stop
high
downloading
above
videos?
the
No,
giant
dude.
chieftain,
I'm gonna download whatever I want.
calls out after you.
Find the
I have no idea, dude.
seers. Help them stop this madness before we tear ourselves apart.
And a machine I got? This one. I got this one right here. Powerful computer. If you're wondering about, like, is my computer not powerful enough to stream this video game? It is, don't worry. And my internet is very fast. And I have a good connection, so I don't know. It's something I always find very funny, is like the newest video game will release, and I, you know, somebody who spends a lot of time on computer, my computer is like, it's got some good parts, some good pieces in it. So I can stream pretty much any new game, or not stream, but play pretty much any new game that comes out on the highest settings. And a lot of times I can stream them on the highest settings. But DDO, man, I find it's always a struggle to, like, you know, play DDO on the computer. Your feet, maybe the demand is too high? No, it's where most of the money comes from.
In the passage beneath the crater,
Yep.
intense heat wells up from the floor.
Yeah, you gotta, like, be careful about the sensitivity a bit. So for me, I like having my microphone being able to pick up just a little bit more information in the room. It makes it feel like, I don't have it be as specific as some people do, because the microphone, the way it's set up right now, is the voice should be coming through a little bit more naturally, so it kind of feels like I'm in the same space as you if you're listening with, like, headphones, as opposed to, like, the more published, or not published, the more, like, polished, like, really, really clean audio. Again, it's more of, like, trying to get that spacious feel. That's why there's, like, not so much an echo, but
A living giant bellows in rage.
there's, like, that tiny bit of, like, background. I don't know, I find it, like, more natural to listen to when I, like, listen back and watch on my own streams and stuff. I find that, to me, is more preferable.
Come quickly.
So a gain setting, it might be in the software itself. I would always check inside the software. Behind you with a knife. I mean, that's not untrue, but... Dude, if I was an AI robot, whoever made me really should have done a better job. Just gonna be honest with you right now. You just get a muffler. That's it. Muffle every sound. I couldn't make a person as perfect as Trim. No, they could do a lot better. I wish I was perfect. Actually, probably not. Because I feel like when it comes to, like, being a person, there's no real way to be perfect, because you need to be able to change and adapt to different circumstances. And each person, a quality that somebody might find endearing in you, somebody else might find irritating and want to have no part in. So I think it's going to be, it's one of those things where it's like kind of like a mixed bag. I don't think you could have a perfect person. It's going to be like, oh, you're like super nice. But then someone is like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that.
Scene from the crater floor lies ahead.
Don't like Tim Hortons? Yeah, but Tim Hortons sucks.
Magic crystal at its top.
Of course I don't like Tim Hortons. Damn it, I'm like a quest behind. I keep forgetting to do this because we had the Twitch problem. Welcome. We're on Madstone. Forgot to update LFM.
The seer stands before the southern crystal. Come, says the seer. The seer.
Yo, what's up, Chris? How are you doing? I'm
start
going
the
pretty
ritual
good.
now. Protect me.
Hortons is overpriced. It's just not very good. Pretty much everything they sell sucks. Which is kind of just like modernization in a nutshell. You know, they used to make all of their donuts in-house. They would hire bakers who would work overnight, who would then produce the donuts. You'd have like fresh-made donuts in the morning. What a great idea. And then modernization happened, and so that stuff just gets shipped in. So they just get frozen donuts shipped in, and then they just, you know, pop them in the defrost, and it's all set. No problem. I mean, yeah, sure. You know, you don't have like a nice fresh product, but like modernization, baby. Also, unfortunately for them, McDonald's just has literally better coffee, and it's like the same price. So like, I'll go to Tim Hortons if there's nothing else there. But if there's something else there, I don't know what to tell you, dude. I'm just gonna go get myself a McCoffee. Yeah, it's just disconnecting. Wow. No, you're right. Wow, that's cool.
A bright cascade of lava plummets from a height. Below,
Cool.
it forms a river of heat.